If we get a chance to talk about it later, we will. But for now, the race does look like it's starting up here.
Uncle's gonna go watch the moth tutorial.
I heard we had a race earlier on Speed Gaming today where 125 NMG runner actually died at mob, so that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, I have no idea what race you're talking about, but first item in the chest in Link's house was 20 bucks. Looks like Link is stealing from the uncle again.
To be fair, Uncle has said himself that he doesn't even know what's in the chest, so maybe it's not Uncle's money that he's stealing. Blue Cane, one of the few, actually I believe the only non-progression item that you can get from Uncle.
Yo, and that E-bomb drop too on Kohrek's side, that's nice. ALTTPR might see that on a green guard drop, and yes, he does.
I like Kohrek's strat of using the magic before he gets to the chest. That way he doesn't have to walk back and forth to pick up the magic. Some players kill the guard on the way back, and then they have to go all the way back to get the magic. So nice little efficiency by Kohrek there.
And you really do see the trade-off because you saw both schools of thought there. Acmlm going for straight speed, whereas Kohrek's going for the full magic here. They did mention that the blue cane is one of the few items Uncle can give that does not give any progression. Very correct and very annoying, actually. I would typically prefer an item from Uncle that gives you a lot of progression, particularly bow and hammer, I feel, really open up the seed.
I mean, there's also the option of bombs, as Chad is pointing out, but I don't really consider that an item. I consider that more like one of those things at the top of the screen. It's just one of the collectibles that you can have.
Right, bombs do open up like bomb walls, but like you mentioned, they can be Skleeby farmed or collected in most areas of the game.
Acmlm is making quick work of this escape sequence.
Look at that magic timing, and there's the ether you were looking for.
1/6 of the puzzle away.
Now, of course, we don't know if ether is going to be required for Misery Mire. It could be required for Turtle Rock as well, or just Turtle Rock, or it could not really be needed. Yet to see.
Oh, if Uncle had given them a sword, they'd be able to ether this green guard, freeze it, and then throw it at the ball and chain guard. That's like my favorite escape strat.
I was a little worried there. I was like, did Acmlm just soft lock? But no, he did throw the second pot at him. Okay, good.
Another 20 bucks for our players as they now make their way back up to the first floor.
Also stealing from the coffers of the Hyrule Justice Department.
They barely have enough to feed their soldiers, so it's understandable that all they would have, I mean, is 20 bucks. That's the understandable part.
I mean, Link does historically have a problem with stealing. For anyone that has played Link's Awakening would know that fact as well.
Any Zelda game. Go into any house ever. Oh, those rupees? Those are mine. Thank you. But Link, he's a poor farmer. Crop season is ended. This is all his savings for the winter. Nope. My rupees.
Yeah, guys, when politicians were talking about video games being the devil, they weren't talking about like GTAs, they're talking about Link to the Past. So we're entering in Dark Escape now through the sewerway. In ALTTPR's point, he does not have any magic currently, but there are several pots throughout the sewer that he'll actually be able to pick up and farm some magic off of.
I don't think he's even going to do that. I think he's just going to go all the way to the key and kill with a bomb. He has so many extra bombs.
Right, he definitely does have that option as well.
But there's one pot in this screen right here if he chooses to go to the left. And there's one pot in the water screen under the doorway, so maybe he'll grab one of those.
And we just got our answer there. He is going to elect to utilize bombs here.
Well,
yo, that's one way to do the room. Gets all three key rats, or all three rats there. Of course, it is very RNG dependent, but that looked really nice.
Players get absolutely nothing for their troubles. That at least they got the bombs from the very first enemy. Imagine like farming magic, farming drops, farming like a dozen enemies to get a capacity upgrade and a blue rupee.
Whoa, dozen. I don't know what rando you've played, but mine's at least like 20 rats and snakes. That's good old RNG for you. Acmlm actually finishing with a really hot time, about a 5:58 coming through the sewer there. Really sharp time for Blue King. Kohrek coming through with a 6:06 as well. Very nice time as well.
Escape coming up pretty bare. All they got was the weapon from Uncle, which is not even a progression item, and Ether Medallion, which they can't even use because they don't have a sword.
You guys might laugh, but that 8-bomb drop was the real prize in that escape.
That was the best item they got in the whole level.
It was.
It's a crystal pendant.
Yeah.
No red crystals. It was a 4 and a 7, I believe. No more bombs.
There you go. With that 10+ bomb capacity upgrade, they're gonna put that to work. And there's the bow.
That's a very nice item to see early. That's one of those items like the ice rod that can just elude you for so long because it's required, but it unlocks so little that it can essentially be anywhere.
It's also great to have in the early part of a seed where Eastern is a crystal, so our runners do have the option to sequence break a little bit without the lamp if they do not run into it and finish it off for an early crystal.
Yeah, I'm expecting this Kakariko to be loaded with how little our runners have gone so far. Neither runner checked Lumberjack, right? It seems like the distance that they are apart has stayed the same since they exited Escape, so I assume.
Yep, you are correct. Neither of our players have checked Lumberjack.
I know Acmlm never, like that's where I got that strat from, was from watching his streams, and it makes perfect sense to not check Lumberjacks until you have the boots, because you have to go back to that area for bunk rocks anyway, and then it makes the screen transitions just that much faster. And if you have like a flute, or if you have a backup like strat afterwards, you can just save and quit after seeing the item or flute away, and it prevents having to backtrack from all the way over there.
Well, we do get a green bottle and 300 rupees there. I actually want to add on to that is when I watched a lot of the weeklies, because I can never partake in them, I used to always hit up ACM's stream, and that actually showed me why I should check it, because he got like near an hour 30 in, and it was at, was it Lumberjack Cave? And his response was, well, I guess I'm getting 40th now.
Well, I think one of the things that Acmlm has become a little bit more known for in his history with Randomizer, nice silver arrows for them there on the well, it's his reluctance to actually go get the information. So like the way I described skipping Lumberjack Cave just now, that's like a strat on when you will eventually get the information from the cave. But Acmlm is the type of player to just be like, I don't care about the information. I'm not checking Lumberjack. I'm not checking Pedestal. I'm not checking any particular location that is visible but out of the way. If ACM doesn't have a reason to be there, he generally doesn't go. It's definitely has bit him in the past. So we'll see if this game... It could happen this seed where the players get boots and then Kohrek goes to check in, he doesn't, and that could be the deciding factor. So we'll see what happens this run.
And we're starting to get back to a little bit of the boring. Not a whole lot throughout Kakariko other than the bow in Lost Woods and the silver arrows so far.
We expect both players here to pretty much do the same thing. One of them might detour to Eastern Palace instead of going to South Shore, but even if they do that, I expect them to do South Shore right after. So the players are just gonna like interchange places basically if they do split up at this point.
Right. I would imagine with early bow and Eastern being a crystal, it's almost preordained that both runners will check Eastern. And I know that both players, being as seasoned as they are, know that, so they're not going to pass on it.
We do have a boomerang, so we can find out what the stun drop is. See if that comes into play, because our runners do have 400 rupees, so they are really close to having enough money for Zora if they want to do fake flippers, sorry, and make their way up there.
Now there is a crab nearby dam, actually very unknown to a lot of runners and players of Randomizer, but on the right side of the screen transition here, neither of our players have actually checked. So if that's like you said, a 5 rupee or a 20 rupee drop too, that would be just as nice.
That's like the 7th arrow symbol they've seen. It's either arrow plus 10 or arrow capacity or silver arrows. Like they've picked up every variation of an arrow that they can pick up at this point.
I mean, they got the bow, right? So I guess the seed's just telling them, here, shoot arrows, go Eastern.
This is for all the times that we put the bow and pendant Turtle Rock. Here you go.
Yep.
50 rupees. I'm actually surprised he's not picking that up. Maybe banking on there being rupees in Mini Moldorm Cave, or just, you know, maybe he knows his own style. He's like, I'm not gonna fake flipper anyway, so there's no point in me picking up the rupees.
Yeah, it is pretty gutsy, but it is akin to ACM's style of just let's do everything as methodically fast as possible.
Kohrek is going to pick it up, and there's a hook shot and the flute. And a shield and a sword. Okay, so this is where Uncle deposited his weaponry and left some little extra goodies there.
Yeah, important to note that Meatloaf over there in the Mini Moldorm Cave gave the 5 rupees as well. That's a really nice cave though.
Kohrek actually did check the bush crab that you were talking about. It was an 8-bomb drop. So if they ever need bombs, they can do that. I don't agree with Acmlm here checking Ice Rock Cave. He should have just went to activate his flute and then fluted to 8 instead of walking across the south of Hylia. There's like literally nothing to be gained but for that. But Kohrek is going to do. So he's going to gain a few seconds there. It's not a big deal, like at all, but it's weird to see him not do like the most optimal thing.
All right, so now they actually do have quite a bit of options here. Flute and Hookshot seems to be leading them towards Death Mountain for potential progression. But as we've talked about before, Eastern is on the table, completely open to them, minus the lamp progression logic. Also, they could also kind of option towards Desert, check out Agina's, and skid out the ledge. So they got some plays here.
Honoring our nice duck anthem here. If you're not saluting at home right now, you're doing it wrong. Kohrek actually fluting to 4. Seems like it was a little bit of an accident. He's gonna make the Sazrala / Eastern Palace play. Get himself 6 items. Maybe find out where the green pendant is. Acmlm is instead heading up Death Mountain, but doing the reverse Dark Cave right now to save the old man real quickly. Interesting to note, the ACMLM has not mapped, so he doesn't know that Eastern's a crystal. And Kohrek's gonna find the mirror for his troubles, so that's a nice little sequencing for him there.
That is intriguing.
Though Hera is a pendant, so he might not want to go up there.
You might not, but I mean, if Moon Pearl's there, then ACLM is going to have to double dip Death Mountain, which is never fun.
That's very true. Well, let's see if there's something on Spectacle Rock. Oh, no.
I do like this road choice by ACMLM too. Checking the Spec Rock before committing to East Death Mountain. I fancy that as well in my routing too, so can't blame him for that.
So even though it's a similar number of items, East Death Mountain having 8, Eastern plus Sahasrahalla having 6. Sahasrahalla is like front-loaded, like you get the 3 right away, but then you have to do all of Eastern Palace to get the other 3. Whereas ACMLM took a little bit of time to get here, but he's gonna get 7 straight items right now. And at 8th, if he decides to check his infamous Spiral Cave.
Yeah, you're definitely getting impacted with the items faster, but again, just to stress that with Eastern, you do get that crystal out of the way as well.
ACMLM getting some flippers and a glove. So we got all the A items except the cool ones.
And with either glove or flippers, that puts Zora now in logic, along with Zora's Domain and Hobo with those flippers.
This might lead him even further away from Sahasrahalla and Eastern Palace. Especially if like maybe Hammer and Pearl is in that area, lead them to Dark World. I love those point blank hook shots. It looks like Link is just like punching something in the face.
They're actually a little faster than sword swipes, aren't they?
I'm actually not sure. I would assume so though. Most Y items are faster than swords, except for like the bow. And there's
that hammer.
So if the Pearl is 9 Eastern, then ACMLM will probably have Dark World access before heading to that area. So that mirror Kohrek picked up might make his routing a little easier throughout the seed. But ACMLM is heading straight to Eastern Palace, so probably because he doesn't have 500 rupees yet, he's probably like, you know what, I'll just do Eastern, and then I'll pick up the rupees if necessary, and then I'll head to Zora. So that works out.
They are going to have to do it dark, though, which is a little annoying, especially going to the right room. It feels a little weird, because when you practice it, you typically will practice strats focusing towards the left side of the room. Sometimes going to the right side of the room can be a little disorienting in the dark.
We just got a red rupee drop from the Popo, and if he chooses to, there's another 10 rupees right next to this chest that he can pick up. So maybe he won't even need that. Typical ACMLM fashion, though, ignoring everything that's not a chest.
He's like, nope.
Nothing to do with me. Kohrek did make it through the dark room, no problem. He's still 5 rupees short of Zora, but he still has to make his way up Death Mountain and pick up his flippers. So he should have his rupees by the end of all of that. Eastern Palace not having much in the way of progression. Players are pretty much just looking for the Pearl at this point, so they can head on over to Dark World. I can get Pearl or Mints, I think, to progress further into the seed. Or I guess Boots too.
I was
Boots
gonna
always
say,
unlocks things.
dare I say, another sword or cape as well with the lantern combo.
That one is 2 items though. Down to about like 8 checks. Agina's, Hobo, Waterfall Cave is 2, that's 4. Zora is 5, Ledge is 6, and then Hera is 8. If it's not fire locked. So 8 items left.
Kind of hoping to see Titans lean into the Pearl actually with the rare either desert or checkerboard check.
I always like to see that. Especially in these like one-on-one race settings where both players are aware of that situation. It's always unfortunate to see like a big race, like a weekly or something, and then like 30 players don't know that it can even be there. And then they just wind up giving up. It's always unfortunate. Acmlm making his way through the dark room now. Picks up his key. Just gonna head to the left, so he does not care about the rupees. He is getting bullied by some popos though, so hopefully he doesn't die here. Yeah, I think that was it right there. He should be fine now. This is the normal amount of hearts and the exact same equipment that you would be doing Eastern Palace with in the No Major Glitches category, where he's extremely practiced. So there's, and he also has blue mail on top of that, so I doubt there's any chance of him dying here.
0.
Like, I think even if the Igor tried to bully him, they'd have to hit him 5 times at this point. And Kohrek did make his way into Hera while we were watching the Acmlm go through Eastern. Gets his heart container. He's gonna head to the Zora area now. Hopefully he stops by Hasra'ala on his way out. Vanilla Pearl would be pretty good for Kohrek, because it would be the required double dip for Acmlm to Death Mountain. Get the compass for his troubles. A heart piece.
I believe
That's gonna
both
be
items.
both items, yeah, because he doesn't have the map or the key. So that leaves Moldorm with the key in the basement with the map.
So at this point, it's either sash or waterlocked.
Acmlm is actually heading up to Hera, so Kohrek, not going to be too punished for checking that early. They should be heading to Zora's domain roughly around the same time. All that color is so cool in the wireframe. We just see here both players are retracing the other player's steps. This tends to happen in the first 25-30 minutes of the run, just because in standard mode, Light World becomes pretty linear. Because it's just like Kakariko has the most chests, and then South Shore, and then Death Mountain, and then Eastern. So it's like you wind up just doing all 4 of them no matter what, assuming you get Death Mountain access. So Kohrek is bomb jumping across, means he's not going to skip Spiral Cave and miss that hammer. So that's good for him. Kohrek scared me for a second there, opening up the save and quit menu.
I was like, mispress please? That's like a bad spot too. If you ever elected to skip that and it was like save progression like the hammer, that's a really rough spot to reroute back. You're basically waiting for Dark World access, and even then, like, Glove might be, or Titan might be locked behind that hammer.
ACML, I'm choosing to save and quit instead of plus. It's about the same speed. At this point, they only have a Gina's Cave and Flipper's Lock stuff to check. So hopefully they will find what they're looking for. And I love Acmlm's swimming. Going to go straight to the Zora area, not bothering with the island or Hobo, which is interesting because the island is accessible as soon as you find your pearl. So if it's something, it's not. But if it was, ACMLM having just enough rupees to King Zora here.
Looked like there's 50 rupees on the ledge. Would you pick that up after Zora?
No. I mean, like, it's nice to have rupees, but I think at this point, he already skipped the easy 50 rupees. You can't go back on your decision. You can't be like, I'm gonna skip these 50 rupees right next to the dam, and then walk all the way over here. Zora, of course, swindling our runners yet again. 500. I actually would have hard reset my console.
I was gonna say
the 500 rupees.
Right, that's definitely an option because they didn't find really anything of worth.
There was absolutely nothing in all of that, and they had, well, at least ACMLM had just save and quit to his house. Kohrek might have not saved and quit recently. So there has to be progression at Agina's. ACMLM, just swim out and flute. Stop save and quitting. He wants his in-game time to be as low as possible. He's maximizing the seconds right now. Okay.
Yeah. No menus allowed.
Gonna take a gander at the ledge item. He can't get it, but it doesn't matter. Do you think it's pearl, mitts, or boots, or mushroom, or shovel?
I was gonna say or shovel. Book.
I'm hoping. Oh, book to go into desert? Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for mitts, though. I still want it to be mitts. Kohrek still hadn't checked Ice Rod Cave here, so he's gonna go get his big 20. ACML's gonna find his pearl, save and quit for the 90th time in 28 minutes. And head on over to 4. I like this. I like the Hype Cave play.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's objectively the best play. Like, if you go to Village of Outcast, that's fine. It's not wrong. It's just not the best. Hype Cave is objectively the best play.
So explain to the viewers why it's objectively best is kind of twofold. Is A, you can get an early Dark World map scout now if you already haven't. So you can see if West Dark World is really for you at that point. Maybe it's not crystals, it's pendants, and with a bow hammer you might want to objectively go to pod. And B is it's one of the fastest chest per minutes in the game in Hype Cave.
Yeah, for sure. Like, a lot of people like to look at it like just chest per minute, and ACMLM finds a book here, which that's what we were hoping was in Agina's Cave, but we found it 30 seconds later. Not a big deal.
There it is. We got him.
almost Solsky vision. But yeah, on top of it being very high chest per minute value, it's also very, very versatile. Like you can, depending on your items, you can choose to go left to Stumpy and the K45 and the digging game, and then go that way, or you can choose to go right and go to Pyramid and Catfish, or you can choose to go to Pod if you have the items for that. Like it's just very versatile. Allows you to like kind of get a big chunk of items from Dark World and then feel out the seed right away. And I like this play by Acmlm to get the scout out of the way nice and early.
We do get that early map scout with TR being red pendant, Pod being green pendant, and I believe it was Skull in Swamp, correctly if I'm wrong, are the 5/6 crystals.
I saw Skull see the other one.
Yeah,
it definitely was on the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, it was either Ice or Swamp. It was either Ice or Swamp.
Acmlm is going to go ahead and go west here. Get that Stumpy check out of the way. I like this with the mirror. Get K45 out of the way. Because usually, if you go straight to Village of Outcast and you wind up finding the mitts sooner rather than later, you get put in this dilemma where, like, do I leave out the north end and check the Graveyard Ledge, Bumper Cave, maybe the boot stuff if I have boots? Or do I go out the south end and check Stumping? And most people go out the south end just because it leads the direction of the purple chest, but you have the flute, whichever way you go, it doesn't matter. You can flute regardless. So doing it this way, but by the time he gets to Village of Outcast, he'll be able to complete his Dark World tour by just heading. Is Kohrek doing Swamp?
Yes, he is. I was wondering.
That blew my mind.
He's making the swamp play. I mean, it's not a bad play. It's not a bad play.
Goes into Swamp. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's definitely not a bad play. It's a crystal. It's completely beatable. Argus might be a little slow if he doesn't find any sword upgrades in here. But yeah, like it's a nice number of items for sure.
I think it's a really sharp logic play just because flippers were completely bogus. Didn't lead to anything so far in the light world. So he's kind of like, where are these flippers going to lead to if it does result in an item chain?
Yeah, I think it's a super heads up play. I actually love it.
And speaking of which, we get that mushroom, so that could lead to something else now.
So both our players are going to really separate areas, and both are pretty time consuming. Like doing all of Thieves Town, doing all of Swamp Palace, especially with no boots, they can be pretty. I mean, time consuming is just the way to put it. There's no other way to put it. So, like, if one of our players finds something like the boots or the Titan's mitts, it's gonna be a while before the other player gets there because of the path that they're both committing to. You see him he's using the last of his rupees. He's like, I have 32 rupees, here's 30, dude. I need to gamble right now. I need to feed this addiction.
Yep. I mean, that was kind of why I was leading that question to you. Do you pick up those 50 rupees? Because if you get like really bad RNG and don't get any rupee chests, then you're out of pocket for chest game, and that's like the worst to reroute.
If he had the lamp and like maybe had the knowledge already that Pod is a crystal, I could make the argument for picking up the rupees. But I think when you spend the rupees in West Dark World as opposed to East Dark World, it's very likely that you get your rupees back from the spending. Like the chess game generally gives you rupees, the digging game always gives you rupees if you just dig enough. Even if you get the item on the first dig, just keep digging and you're gonna get your money back basically. So, if he had plans of going to Pod, I could definitely see the argument for picking up the rupees. But I think it's fine to skip them if he's planning to come here, and it worked out for him, so can't be too mad. Kohrek finding a Master Sword. That's very nice right before Argus.
Right on.
Acmlm finding a assortment of dungeon items. Master Sword Argus is not much faster than Fighter Sword Argus. He might still opt to do the menus for the hammer. Looks like he's gonna go for the double dash shots. I like this hook shots by Acmlm here to just move through the screens a little quicker. Hook shot is one of those items that it's just so multi-purpose. Like you can use it to move faster, you can use it to stun enemies, you can use it to like pull drops to yourself. Like there's so many like good uses for it that are all useful. So it's one of those items you find yourself constantly like equipped on, especially if you don't have boots.
Particularly in the track room here in the hellway, it speeds it up significantly because you are walking against traffic, and the hookshot just kind of bypasses that slowdown. So it's very nice.
Kohrek grabbing his second crystal. Acmlm will have his shortly. Nice bombos find there.
Yep, second medallion found. Could also allow with access to Ice Palace once they find the tight mitts.
Yeah, they're pretty much a mitts away from 2 of the 3 mitts locked dungeons. Kohrek is going to go back in for the left side. Didn't find enough things to satisfy item needs. A lot of players have different philosophies on the left side here. They go back for 1 item, they go back for 2 items, they don't go back at all.
I feel like if you commit to it that early, you might as well full clear it at that point because you're already kind of sold on it.
Yeah, you also don't want to risk like your opponent coming here with less checks available to them and choosing to full clear it because they've done so much already that like they essentially would be forced into the full clear, and then you consciously chose to like basically screw yourself. So nice first cycle there. Gets hit, but very nice recovery. Acmlm should be able to finish this up with the script.
Textbook. Nice fight.
That just shows like a ton of experience there. He gets 10 arrows for his troubles. Arrow related drops at this point.
Like you mentioned, I think what made that fight really nice was the fact that he did get hit and still retain the script. That was impressive.
Blind can appear very random at first glance, but if you attack the boss in the same way every single time, the boss will always do the same thing. So most players learn that initial script to make it easier for themselves. Getting hit usually makes you miss an attack, but Acmlm was experienced enough to know exactly what to do in that situation and was able to recover. If you're Kohrek here, do you continue your crystal adventures and just jump into Desert Palace? Or just jump off this ledge and go into Desert? I don't think he will, but it's not a bad decision.
You're really close to it, so I can see him potentially considering it. Yeah, he will.
Yeah, if he finds a fire source in Desert Palace, he can beat it. And it also has to not be boots locked. So it's probably not beatable. He's probably just thinking it's a quick check, get the information of whether I need boots or not, and you know, just get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think the real prize there, regardless of items, is that information if boots are going to be required for go mode.
Acmlm Finding a bunch of dungeon items in the front half of Skullwood. Sorry, I get my S's confused.
It's always the worst when you commit
More
to
arrow capacity.
Oh my god, when you commit to Skull as a dip without Fire Rod, and then both items are Fire Rod locked. That's like the worst.
Acmlm is so good at that. I was so sure he was gonna get hit, but he knew like the exact way. Just an impressive player to watch overall. Will he read the pedestal? Never. Don't get your hopes up, kid. This is not the man that likes information. If you want a pedestal read, you might need to look at the other screen. Kohrek going for a little bit of a gamble here. He's gonna make his way back up to Ether Tablet and do Ether Tablet and potentially Spike Cave.
I like the play because it's committing to the play in Swamp with Master Sword. But as you said, I think I would agree with the term gamble just because it is a pretty big time commitment at this point for one check.
It's not like Acmlm is doing pendants or optional things. He's
my, that is huge. So that's gonna give him some really
vision.
Yeah, that's gonna give him some really sharp options here. He's already on EDM. He's going to be going towards Dark World Death Mountain now with that glove, getting a scout of T-Rock, see what medallion is required if he does want to tip it, if he finds Red Cane as well. And it's going to give him just some overall a little bit better routing options right now.
And that's such a like one-off check that it's going to be hard for Acmlm to make that call. Like for him to just be like, you know, I have 6 items in Swamp, I have 5 items in Pod, I have, you know, all these overall locations I can check. Let me go up to Death Mountain for this one Ether. And it's Ether. So if he finds Cane of Samaria up here, he can also dip into Turtle Rock.
I think what might draw him back is Spike Cave being in Logic, because then it just doubles the amount of items at 2 to go back there. But like you mentioned, it's a really tough draw at that point to go back up, because really you're waiting for Glove until you check that Ether most of the time.
Kohrek's gonna get 4 items here in Hookshot Cave. Both players saw the ledge, they know there's nothing up there. There's a chance that there's nothing up here either. You know, like something like a Boots and Pod could pave the way for Acmlm to clear his remaining locations like really quickly. And then he would be at that Ether Tablet much like sooner rather than later. And that would be like huge for him as well. Okay, so nothing else on Death Mountain here for Kohrek. I expect a mire check here with the mitts. Just get mire shed and check the medallion. If the medallion is bombos, he needs to do Thieves Town. Wait, was it in Thieves Town? Yeah, it was the bombable floor, I believe. Acmlm looks like he's pulling the trigger on Swamp though. He does have everything he needs to beat Pod, but Pod is a pendant. So he might be like, you know, same number of items as Swamp, but Swamp is a crystal, so I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way. And I believe he's only going to find a Master Sword for his troubles.
Just a piece of heart in Spike Cave. Kohrek is going to save and quit. Where does he go from here with those statements?
I mean, he still has all of West Dark World to do. He has the Mire area to do. I think the Mire area is probably priority just because of how quick a check it is. He is going to turn in his mushroom that he got in Swamp really quickly. Guess he does not want to save it for the fake powder glitch. Pretty heads up play here to use his green potion, fill up the bottle with something a little bit more useful. Acmlm now getting his mushroom that we now know is nothing of value. And we are getting the Mire Scout here, so we'll see now if that Bombos medallion is required for Mire. Otherwise, it could still be required for Ice Palace. Just Quake is for Mire, so actually the third medallion is needed.
I was going to mention, go figure, they have 2 medallions, and the one they currently do not own or know where it is not required.
Very lovely Mire Shed Cave. 2 pieces of heart is all.
I got the joke.
I was just explaining it for maybe people that did it, Solski. Thanks, Solski.
Anytime.
Checkerboard is red Q. You can go ahead and pick that up. So it's looking like our next progression is either going to be in Pod or in Ice Palace. I think collectively between the 2 players, they've checked all the other stuff. Kohrek is going to make his way to Village of Outcasts now. He also can check the Smith sequence as well, so that could have some value for him. Acmlm is skipping left side for now.
Yep, following suit on Kohrek and going straight to Argus. That seems to be the go-to play with a lot of seasoned runners, especially being a Crystal Swamp. Just go right to Argus, hope you kind of get the maximum checks possible, and hopefully run into all the items along the way.
This graveyard ledge. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, we did check Mushroom. Mushroom was garbage, and Desert is boots locked.
Acmlm going in with some more pumping in the water actually does make him a little bit faster. Love that strat.
I think I kind of understand what Kohrek's doing here. He basically wants to exit Village of Outcasts to the south to get Cave 45 and Stumpy because he hasn't done those yet. And because of that, he wants to get these northern locations out of the way before he's basically going to the edge of his route and then working his way back, as opposed to like doing the middle and then going up and then doubling past what he was doing originally. So it's not the worst. I like this.
Right, and Pyramid is still open to him as well, so it doesn't quite annex the check of Quakefish as well at this point.
Oh, misses the star tile. He was trying to make the pit disappear. Gets a key. I like this routing from him. I always try to convince people to do Skullwoods in a way where they wind up with a key at this door, especially if they have a mirror. That way you can get all these chests and then just mirror back to the door. It saves a little bit of time. It also avoids the situation of not finding a key on the left and having to do the pinball room with the Gibdos. So that's always nice to be able to avoid that long walk around if you don't get a key. So Acmlm foregoing left side, we know is garbage, so he's not going to get punished for that. He's now heading over to Pod, another location with a lot of items in a very short space. So see if we find some value over here. Kohrek is about to do a bunch of stuff that Acmlm has already done. So we already know that Kohrek is not going to find anything except a Bombos medallion for his troubles along this route.
This can actually be one of these plays that really works out in ACM's favor as well, because with Kohrek already having the Titan mitts, I feel like that's going to probably put him away from Pendant Pod for quite a while at this point, especially when he runs into Bombos. Ice will start to become a priority for him. So if ACM does end up finding something really nice here, like say a boots or maybe even a progression item, it's gonna I would say it'd almost give him a lead here.
I mean, he's a crystal ahead of Kohrek at this point. He's gonna have Pod fully cleared before Kohrek even thinks about it. If Pod has nothing, then he's already done like all the major Dark World stuff. Then that's when he starts thinking like, what's the one-off location that I missed? And
Right.
Ether Tablet comes up pretty quickly afterwards. So you know, I would actually argue that he's ahead already, because it's going to take him about the same amount of time to full clear this dungeon, assuming no like deaths or mishaps, as it is going to take Kohrek to finish Thieves Town. And then Kohrek is going to get lured into the Smith sequence probably. So if Pod has nothing, then maybe the Smith sequence is the next play. But otherwise it's going to be like, it's going to be the Smiths or Ice, and Acmlm is going to be there pretty soon after Pod. I'm going route. Make sure you don't miss the big key before you get to the bag, and there it is in its vanilla location.
Well, there's powder.
I believe that's the first item, right?
Correct, and it's currently in logic as well without the lamp.
So there's 2 more chests here in logic for them on Acmlm's side. If he doesn't find the lamp here, then the rest of these chests are going to be sequence breaks, but he's probably going to open them anyway. There's really no reason to walk away from the chests just because you don't have the lamp.
Nice hammer jump by ACM.
Find some rupees in the first Dark Mage chest. And Dark Mage chests without the lamp are a little tricky sometimes, because if you don't see any of the things like change or don't hear any sound effects, sometimes you don't even notice what you pick up. I've seen races be decided by players sequence breaking this, getting Titan's mitts or something like that, and then not knowing they have Titan's mitts for like the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, I believe there's a race. I think it was the fall tournament where both runners actually weren't aware that they had Titans for quite a while.
Gets 1 key.
Oh,
there it is.
baby.
That's what we were talking about, the big game changer. The boots are such a huge game decider. They enable you to explore the game so much quicker. And there's going to be an item in this chest. Acmlm got an extra key.
And tempered too? Oh my god. That's a big find.
So he's not going to leave just yet. Helmasaur does have an item, but he's a pendant. Oh, he's changing his mind. Okay. So he is just going to leave. Green Pendant is not enough to lure him to the back, especially because it's a sequence break, right? So there's no guarantee that there's anything even there. He's running solo on locations. You don't want to give yourself... When you're running low on locations, that's when sequence breaks are bad, because you can find things that lead you away from the item that has to come soon. So even these checks right here, you know, he could be thinking to himself, like, as Kohrek cleans up a beautiful blind fight there and picks up his third crystal, he could be thinking to himself, like, yeah, I'm going to check these just because they're quick, but, you know, I know there's nothing here.
And we're going to get our, what is our lumberjack check now with ACM finding the boots.
And this is as good a time as any to check it. He has the flute, so he'll be able to just exit the cave and flute to wherever he needs to go. It's just a red rupee.
Yeah.
So now our players are even up on crystals, but where Kohrek got the Mitz gamble and has Dark World Death Mountain checked, Acmlm went for the Pendant Pod, and he got his boots. So that's going to be huge for him. Is there something on the library? Oh, he's checking that.
Checking pattern. Yep.
Yeah. Like, I don't remember seeing anything there, but it was so long ago.
I would have to think, too, with ACM finding the boots, his next stop after bat might be Desert now.
I mean, he still doesn't have a fire source, but he could check it for the items. It'll be interesting to see what he does. He doesn't know that Desert is boost locked. He hasn't been yet. That was Kohrek that did us the favor of checking, but Kohrek is going to go ahead and do the Smith sequence here. I would have liked him to actually check K45 and Stumpy before going up to pick up the Smith, because then he could just flute with the purple chest instead of having to walk all the way back down.
Alright, and he's checking Desert.
We already know one of the items is an arrow capacity, and we'll see if he's able to find the second one. Our friend Molas has it. And like you said, because Kohrek has those mitts, you know, it might be a while before he makes his way over to Pod. He has access to Ice Palace now as a beatable crystal for him. He doesn't have access to Mire because Mire is Quake, but if he finds Quake or the Canis of Mire, he might get lured into one of those dungeons before going back for Pod.
Alright, so with ACM getting the small key on the torch here, we do know that big key will be on the right side here in the key lock door. We'll have another chest, could be a dungeon item or an item, and we also have the big chest open, so it's basically 2/3 chance that he finds the second item here as well. And there it is.
There it is. He's just gonna grab his big key and immediately peace out. And let's see if he it has to be Ether now, right? I don't think he has anything else.
It's by Cave, but yeah, it's pretty much these two. I'd say he probably will commit to Ether first and then drop into Spike, but we'll see.
Yeah, if he does Ether first, he'll probably take the same route as Kohrek, where he goes over to East Death Mountain and clears all of that. Oh yeah, as the chat reminding me that he does have King's Tomb, technically, if he went from Dark World and Mirror.
Correct.
But King's Tomb is not in logic, because he shouldn't have boots because he doesn't have the lamp.
Also
So,
correct.
That's why I was...
Speaking
That's
of...
why I forgot about it.
Speaking of Kohrek. getting the cape at purple chest there. Got him.
That does absolutely nothing, doesn't it, huh?
Opens nothing.
Because we already know lumberjacks and we already know bumper caves, so unfortunately not getting anything for his time invested there. I'm a little surprised ACM didn't go to East F Mountain. I didn't even know you could talk to the priest from that far. It didn't even look like he went up the stairs. He just... Gonna go ahead and get King's Tomb out of the way. Probably was weighing on the back of his mind that that was available to him.
Hey, where'd Kohrek go? Barely see him with that wire sprite.
I was like, Ice Palace? Are we just stream? Okay. Acmlm is gonna check Mire Shed and check a board. Realize he can't get into Mire because it's Quake. And then we'll see where he goes from there. Kohrek got a big key in the first chest of ice, so he's gonna mosey his way through here. Unless Acmlm decides to do the sprint sequence, I kind of feel like he's gonna lap Kohrek at this point. Gonna go to ice and just meet him there and finish before him. He could go back up to Darkwood Mountain, like realizing that he should have checked that while he was up there. Might not want to leave that behind.
Oh, he thought about it too.
The double take.
Nope.
I don't want that.
Nope,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was definitely a why not moment. Yeah, and he's going right to Ice Palace with that Bombos and Titan combo.
And with Boots and Tempered, he is going to make such quick work of this dungeon.
I love that pump, dude. Alright, so imagine Ice Palace is really the last play here within progression that both our players are at. Wonder what we're going to find.
Canis Maria. Fire Rod on Laser Bridge. The keys will all line up. That's my plan and I'm sticking to it.
Need that, oh, it's Ether at T-Rock. I was going to say need the Quick as well, but that's Mire.
It could also be Fire Rod, and then they can get the Pyramid Fairy after beating Skullwoods. But at this point, it has to be Quake, Fire Rod, or Cane of Samaria.
And there's the cane.
Kohrek just got it?
Yes, he did.
Let's see if there's anything else in here. That's the second item.
So that opens up a Pendant T-Rock Rodless.
Pendant, dude, that's crazy. Was there anything in this chest that Kohrek's going up to right now? Or no, he hasn't checked data. Okay. I'm not sure if he's at 2 or 3 items. I didn't see if he checked the freeze or chest.
I'm pretty sure he's at 2.
Acmlm also getting his nice jump. Kohrek's like, where's my Fire Rod? Realizes he has the menu to bombos. It's like, alright, cool. And that's the third item. Nice pink color on the wireframe. I want to play with that sprite now. It's so cute. I don't know how you see yourself.
I was gonna say now he's just blending into the regular Ice Palace floor.
I mean, the game is also like more like detailed for us when you play yourself. so it's a little easier to see. But on the stream, it could be a little worse, depending on his stream quality. So he's gonna fall into Master Sword, Cold Stare here. No Fire Rod, no Half Magic. Just a Cape, a Hammer, and a Dream. It's a nice spin. Oh, nice triple on the Hammer. Another triple. Okay, so they actually take 6. No, it's gonna be 7 Hammerheads because he spun them with the Master Sword. Nice presence of mind there to use the red potion instead. Acmlm picking up his Canis Mario while Kohrek is in this little bit of a struggle here. Kohrek is doing really well with his hammer hitbox. Red Mail helping him out, making it so he only takes about a heart and a half as opposed to taking his entire health bar every time these guys touch him. And
yeah,
Kohrek is getting them though.
They're basically giving him free hugs at that point with the red mail there.
Kohrek gets his first crystal, so first of the Pyramid Fairy crystals. So it was the thought I had, it just didn't enunciate itself out of my brain. But he's gonna have to make his way over to Turtle Rock. The question is, does he decide to do Pod first? Pod is beatable for him. There is still a chance that there's a clutch item on Green Pendant. Looks like Kohrek wants to do the pyramid before going into Pod, I think.
It's possible.
I don't see what else you would flew to 4 for.
Pyramid Quakefish, but that's about it.
Oh, they do have Quakefish as well, you're right.
Never forget the fish.
It's because I always, you already know my route, so you know that's like the first place I go in Dark World. So it's like it's always on the. I forget about it at this stage in the run, if it's still available. You see, I'm having a little bit of a hard time there, but making it out of the fight without dying is the important part. Gets his 4th crystal, I believe.
Indeed, it's his 4th.
So he's missing Quake for Mire, Fire Rod for Skullwoods, and a Fire Source for Desert Palace. Hey, look! It's that thing that we wanted this whole time. Okay, so that's pretty much going to solidify Kohrek's decision to... nope, never mind, I take it back. I thought he was going to go straight to Pod with that lamp. That's usually what the lamp signifies for some players. Like, there is the Palace of Darkness, so... That's
so this routing choice by ACM is going to really pay off now, because he's going to be able to check out Dark World Dip Mountain and maybe even dip T-Rock at this point, which I would imagine is really his only play, depending on what Quakefish has here. Maybe it's Quake.
They're only missing 2 items, technically, because ACMLM doesn't really need the lamp. But Quakefish did not have anything though, so it's pretty much gonna come down to Turtle Rock, I think.
Yeah, it's down to T-Rock now at this point.
Hey, so Kohrek has some catching up to do. He's about a dungeon and a half behind.
So with the lamp now bringing all of Pod in logic, Green Pendant and Helma could also have the progression as well now.
Oh right, I just said that. I completely forgot. Kohrek needs Helmasaur to have Fire Rod, and for TR to be Fire Rod locked. That would put Kohrek back in this. But just in it. Acmlm would still just go back to pod and lap him. But hey, Laser Bridge, that's my dream. That's where I want it to be.
Have you ever seen Fire Rod on Laser Bridge?
No, never. I've seen it in Mimic Cave. That one was pretty dumb. But I've never seen it in Laser Bridge. Okay, so for him to be able to progress in Turtle Rock, this first chest in the compass room on the left here has to be a key, a small key. So we'll see if Turtle Rock is Fire Rod locked. Okay, first part's so good. Now we need the Chain Chomp chest to also be a small key. Or it could just be the Fire Rod. Because the other thing it could be, technically.
Yeah, ACM just getting stuffed by the chain chomps there on that initial. And yeah, it's either helmet or green pendant.
And I'm pretty sure he knows. He hasn't skipped anything.
Except for that.
So he's gonna go straight there.
Oh no, he has the Quickfish and Pyramid, so yeah, he's gonna flute to 4 and catch up on those first.
Right, that was Kohrek that did those two. He also has the Smith sequence. That was Kohrek as well. There is a chance he doesn't go straight to pod.
Yeah, imagine if he has a lot more.
He gambled left side swap.
Oh, no. He's going back in.
This is a questionable play. I understand.
I think he's really worried that it's there though. I can feel this play.
That's the thing about gambles is you have to know when to go back on them and when to stick to them.
Yeah. This is like
at this point though, he's gambled two things. He's gambled Green Pendant and Helmosaur, which is 2 items. He's gambled Left Side Swamp, which is 1 item. He's also hasn't checked Pyramid plus Catfish, and he hasn't checked the Smith sequence, which is 3 items. So honestly, this one's not that time consuming. It's about 2-minute check, but
for 1 item.
It minimizes your losses the most, because if it's one of the things that you gambled. So like if your opponent doesn't gamble it and you gamble it, every minute you spend not going back is a minute like that your opponent is gaining on you. So it's less items than the other checks, but it's understandable that
No, I definitely do feel out that play the way you explained it there. I would liken that to, say, going to Dark World without checking, say, a Pendant or Crystal Eastern Palace. Similar kind of circumstances. How long do you actually leave it off until you check it, and how soon do you think your opponent has checked it? Definitely would play in your mind.
Acmlm plays in a lot of races, so that's something that gets built into your strategy is minimizing your losses, especially when you're playing against such a big field of opponents. So as someone with a lot of experience, that's something that could influence his decisions very easily. Wait, Kohrek miscounted his keys and skip tempered, I think. Is that what I'm seeing in the chat? Is it here? Is it on Helmosaur? Or is it at Sahasrara?
It's
there
quick.
It is. And that's huge for Kohrek. That's what he needed. He needed Helmsword to have the item and not Turtle Rock.
So if he knows there's an item in pod, does he go back in? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just miscounted. Oh, he doesn't even have boots. He just went straight to Helmsword.
Wow.
That's what happened. While we were talking, like he did right side and then just jumped off and went straight to Helmsword. Which is surprising considering he has the lamp. So like the rest of the stuff, it's not as good as breaking mice. It's just as likely to be as Helmsword as it is to be anywhere else.
I consider that a bold play, being a pendant dungeon as well. But I think like he's committed to getting that green pendant anyways, missing 2 items. So I can definitely see why he would do it.
Some people use plays like that to kind of control themselves. Like for instance, if you find 5 items in pendant pod, like you might be inclined to leave the green pendant behind. So he might just be like, you know, I'll just do it early. If it's an item, you know, I get the item. If it's not an item, I got the pendant, and it's you know, this way I take the decision out of my own hands later with all the knowledge of whether I should do it or not.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Okay, now he's definitely miscounting his keys. Okay, there he goes. Now he's going back for the tempered sword. Okay, so Acmlm with his lamp is going to land Mollis, but he already got both items out of desert, so he should know that there's nothing here. He's just getting his crystal out of the way. Kohrek's indecisiveness is getting the better of him, though. He doubled back yet again and did not pick up the temper. Looks like he's just gonna straight up leave.
Aww. So that's a little unfortunate, especially since that will cost him a little bit of time again. But overall, shouldn't really impede him too much with having silvers for an upcoming victorious fight.
Yeah, as far as the rest of the bosses in the game go, you can always just use your hammer or your silver arrows for most of them. Green Pendant is nothing, so Fire Rod is in Mire, I believe. I don't think there's anywhere else to be, right? Between the two of them, they've checked everything.
The only way I can see it not being Mire is to say maybe Shovel leading to it.
I mean, that's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not in Mire.
It's not the same thing if there was anything else available to check, period. But it is the same thing.
It's not the same. It's not physically there.
You know what's so scary?
It's like you go to pod in your book and you're like, oh my god, Bo was in pod. No, it wasn't. It was in desert.
So Kohrek has some boots lock stuff to check before he heads on over to Misery Mire. Acmlm is going to do the Smith sequence before he rescinds on his last ultimate check of Green Pendant Helmsword. Checking the lumberjacks now, because you know I have the lamp and the boots now, so I can't do it. So let me make sure that there's nothing there.
And Kohrek now going back to check out the bat, getting the powder from pod.
Do you like these plays? This like checking all these errand things, the boot stuff, the mushroom stuff before heading to Mire. Because Mire is beatable, and it's a crystal.
It is, but I think they're hoping to save a little bit of time in Mire. I know where you're coming from. So the kind of train of thought is, when you dip Mire, there's a very good chance that you're going to find Big Key mid to late anyways. There's a couple of instances where you can run into a God Mire, maybe save a minute and a half. I think that's what they're worried about, but checking all these other off locations is quite time consuming. I think it's just playing safe at this point. They don't really want to miss it since they've already committed to most of the seed already anyways.
This is what you call a classic hundo.
Pretty much.
Kohrk's gonna go ahead and finish up Desert Palace because he doesn't know that the second item in Desert Palace is a heart piece. And Acmlm is gonna head straight to Helmasaur here. So I think in this situation, I think I give the edge to Acmlm. Kohrek has to luck into another sword in GT, or Acmlm is gonna have a much quicker Ganon fight. Like the difference between Tempered Sword Ganon and Butter Sword Ganon is almost non-existent, but the difference between Master Sword Ganon and Tempered Sword Ganon is pretty big.
It's not too bad if Kohrek can run into a safety like into half magic just to kind of speed up the spins with Cape. It'll give him some pretty free cycles, but yeah, Tempered Sword Ganon versus Master Sword, you will definitely pick up some time.
Yeah, so I'll say that it should take these two about roughly the same amount of time to do these dungeons. They both have a wall cutscene in them. They both have a boss that's rather quick. Kohrek is gonna beat him to Mire just because he's already there. Acmlm might also check the green pendant before floating away. But this was a pretty crazy scene. As it's starting to wrap up here.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, Pendant Pod having a lot of the goods in this seed actually to Tempered Boots and Quake.
Technically also had Powder, which is pretty good.
Right. Kohrek finishing off his fight with the Lamos Worms in Desert will be picking up his 5th crystal. Meanwhile, ACM just finishing up his fight with Helma very shortly from now. Both our runners seem like they're going to be making this dash to Mire very shortly.
If you're just joining us, the players are just missing the Fire Rod for Go mode so that they can do Skullwoods. Acmlm has checked literally everything. He just got his Quake from Misery Mire. Kohrek hasn't checked the first few chests of Turtle Rock, but aside from that, he has checked everything himself. That is time difference you see right here. Acmlm actually got all 6 items out of pod, the last one being that Tempered Sword. I think Kohrek miscounted his keys and just opted to leave the dungeon before checking the Harmless Hellway. So that's like the sword difference right there. Acmlm saving quitting instead of walking outside and using his flute. The save and quits this game have had me on tilt. Not gonna lie.
He's gonna have such a low menu time. It's gonna be awesome, actually.
Is this the strat? Is this the strat to the sub 130 menu? Just always save and quit, don't menu to flute. Kohrek finding a key on the first bridge of Misery Mire. Acmlm does have the cape. He did do the purple chest, yes. Kohrek is about to get the second chest here.
Fire Rod.
There it is, the Fire Rod. That is Go mode for Kohrek. Acmlm will be getting his Go mode shortly. Just a few screens behind, but with a sword advantage. It's mostly anyone's game here if Kohrek comes across a sword in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, pretty tight race overall.
I was thinking to myself, why didn't he fire rod those whiz ropes? Well, Ben, because he doesn't have the fire rod. Kohrek gonna opt to do the right side of Mire. Instead of the vanilla big key, let's see if he gets rewarded for it. And there's Acmlm's go mode, and the big key is on the rail bridge in the center of Mire here. We'll see how fast Acmlm comes to that chest. It shouldn't be much later than Kohrek got. Both our runners do have silver arrows, so this boss should take them both the exact same amount of time. There is no benefit to the sword in this particular dungeon. Do you see, this is Acmlm should have had the presence of mind, Solsky, to pick up the rock after fluting from the bottom, knowing that he was going to find the fire rod in this dungeon so that he could show off the glitch. That's what should have happened.
You really wanted to see that glitch, didn't you?
I'm a little disappointed, mainly because before the stream started, I had his stream open waiting for the race to start, and he was just practicing the glitch for like the half hour before the race started, so I was pretty excited for it. But for those that may not know, there was a recent glitch discovered in Link to the Past that allows you to manipulate the fire rod hitbox so that it can hit crystal switches that it's nowhere near. Specifically in this room that Kohrek is about to enter. Is he doing it? No, he's not doing it. Gem got me excited. You can shoot the fire rod at those anti-fairies on the left there, and it'll hit this crystal switch in this room, even though you're not in that room. And that saves you the time of bombing the wall and transitioning twice. It also can be used in this room to hit the switch at the top of the room from
like
the stairs. Oh, did
He's
Acmlm
doing
doing
it.
it?
He's doing it. He already did the spike.
There you go.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. Acmlm to go. Look, he's gonna shoot the torch. Oh, he didn't wait for the switch. He got too ahead of himself.
Rip. No.
He really didn't want to get bunny beamed. You have to shoot the fire rod, but then you have to wait like that. Yeah.
There we go. He still got it. He still got it.
Pog champ. So he did have the presence of mind to pick up the rock from below. I just missed it.
I didn't want to spoil it. Got him.
Acmlm not using his silver arrow.
I was gonna say, please.
So he's actually not gonna get the. Oh, nah, yeah, he
No,
didn't get the
he's
zero
not. He missed it.
because he missed the spin on the top left. But you know, just like that, he's gonna pick up his 6th crystal. He's gonna race Kohrek to Skullids. Kohrek, you're missing a dungeon, buddy.
Oh no.
Kohrek.
Does he think T-Rock's a crystal?
Oh no. Hopefully he has his music on.
Because that's the two possibilities here. He either thinks he has all 7, or he thinks T-Rock's a crystal. Oh no. And this can put ACM in the lead now.
Yeah, ACM is well ahead now. The sword advantage combined with Kohrek having misinformation here. Oh, he's realizing that he's missing a crystal. Yeah, so he thought he had 7. And I guess one of those menus, he looked over at the crystals and was like, oh, there's one that's not lit up. So on this boss, even though you can use the hammer to equate tempered sword damage, that still requires an extra menu. So at best, Kohrek can have a slightly slower boss fight here. But Acmlm is already ahead of him. So it's going to be some work for Kohrek to catch up, and he's going to have to luck into a sword in Ganon's tower, I believe, to even really stand a chance, unless ACMLM messes up badly. Well, it could also be like a Ganon's tower routing thing as well. If ACMLM decides to go like full left or full right or something, and Kohrek does the opposite, that could give him the time he needs. ACMLM falling into Mothula here. 2, 3, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5.
Smartly using the
4.
he was actually really smart in using those sword beams there. Moth was in a position where he wouldn't do damage to him on spikes, so he's just kind of nudging him forward to get that temper sword slash off him.
Kohrek dropping in now. ACMLM having a 130-50 sword up. And you guys know what time it is now. ACMLM has all 7 crystals. I don't know if you want to do the honors of starting the game, Soul Speed. But Ganon's Tower has 22 chests that can potentially hold the big key. So you're going to see a bunch of numbers in chat right now. What players are doing right now is they're guessing which of those 22 chests are going to hold the big key. And we're going to go based on the order in which ACMLM opens them in, because he was the first one to get the 7 crystals. If you are subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels or have donated at least 250 bits to any of the Speed Gaming channels, and you are the first to correctly guess the number, you will be placed on the leaderboard. And it's a pretty big deal. There's some people there that have like 9, 10, 11 guesses. I'm just like, how the heck do you get that right so many times? But ACMLM is now working his way up to Ganon's Tower with his sword advantage. Kohrek cleans up Mothula and gets his 7th crystal. Again, ACMLM was first, so we will be going by the way he opens the chests. And you have until he walks in the door of Ganon's Tower here to get your guesses in. Kohrek getting dead rocked. Okay. Oh, jumps inside the dead rock.
That's the worst, because you're just stuck there. There's nothing you can do.
And here we go. Don't forget to stop the game.
Got him.
Chest number 1 is a compass. Chest number 2 is an arrow capacity upgrade. ACMLM is going to do the standard route of right to left. Did not find the small key, so could not go right. Find small key in the torch, though. But I doubt he doubles back at this point. I'm gonna grab a small key out of this pot. Fastest menus of all time.
Love them.
Fastest menus in the West, dude. Is chest number 4.
Here's that half magic.
5. That's gonna be nice for Kohrek.
Oh, very much so. He's gonna be happy to see that, and the big key.
And it's
so
7.
So hopefully
for number 7.
Hopefully for Kohrek, he'll find that that half magic for him for sure.
Kohrek's gonna do the same route, and he'll come across his sword on the left-hand side. Now you guys are gonna get to watch some excellent MG execution here from both our runners. Both really good at the game. Mimics 1 and Mimics 2 here are some of the hardest rooms in the game, and ACMLM is making them look like the easiest rooms in the game. There's a chance here that Kohrek opens the chest right to left and doesn't get half magic. Apparently I was holding shift. Oh, that silver arrow lag. Still hits it though. Gets a nice kill on the Stalfos there. Kohrek is working his way up to Mimics here. The full 360 around the room to catch that Zazak. It's the runaway Zazak.
Don't
Nice
hurt me, I swear. I don't even like Ganon. Nice silver arrow hit there on the skeleton.
I respect that he went for it. I dislike that he wants that menu time so low that he didn't just fire out the damn stuff first. Gets a nice little 2-cycle on Land Molus for trouble. It's really hard to get the 1-cycle with silvers because it gets so laggy in that room the more equipment you have.
Literally a floor apart right now by both our runners.
That temperature advantage though is kind of showing on Kohrek's screen here, where he's having to up to fire rod a lot of these enemies. The blue Zazak luckily die in one hit, but this next screen he has to either hit them into the spikes or fire rod them. Acmlm making quick work of the torch room here. Doesn't even need to pick up the magic refills with this half magic that he got. Is that me?
No. I was gonna say though, but that menu was on the screen for like 9 seconds. Rip that sub 2 menu.
Kohrek looking to get his 2-cycle ammo, and he does. Quick work of Molon 2 for Acmlm here. For someone who hates extra things, if he opens this chest, I'm so mad at him. I'm gonna have some strong words for Acmlm when I see him. Does get his green group in the validation chest. Kohrek entering Torches 1 here. Just fire rodding them with all the extra magic he has.
Maybe he's hoping to see Ice Rod there. Just maybe.
I think that was 2.
Almost gets it.
It's like 2 more. Kohrek opening some chests looking for a sword, because he's still on Master Sword. That was a nice 2-hit there, even though all 3 orbs hit him. If you hit Ganon with the orbs at the same time, then unfortunately no sword for Kohrek here. So he's gonna need Acmlm to make some big mistakes with his red mail and 13 hearts to be able to close this gap. Oh no, and Kohrek taking a Moldorm fall. How you like me now? Not very much, Ganon. Never have, never will. Sorry, bud. Acmlm making very quick work of that first cycle. 12 slashes will do it. Enters phase 2 here. Another 12 slashes will end that phase very quickly. Ganon's going to start his teleport phase here. Requires 4 hits to get him out of phase 3. There's 1. Every time you hit him, one of the sides of the floor will collapse, so that's how you know how close you are to being done. If you have, issues counting to 4.
I mean, pretty much me in Ice Palace.
Kohrek's really getting trolled by Moldorm here. But finally cleans him up. Slashes at him bajillion times. Acmlm hitting that first silver arrow. Lights both the torches. Is gonna get a double here. Oh, gets the triple. Nice.
Yeah,
Thought
he's
he was
just
too
close
close to the
enough.
edge.
Just close enough for the triple there.
Beautiful, beautiful Ganon fight. And assuming my good friend here does not walk off the edge of the screen, ACMLM is going to finish this race with an official speed racing TV time of 1 hour 40 minutes and 12 seconds. GG to him.
What a great fun race, huh?
That was intense.
It's great. It's almost what I expected from the round 6 of Swiss now. Just a lot of runners getting very close to their competition levels, and it is showing off. We're getting some really tight matchups.
It was interesting because like the early ether play was so good for finding mitts, but then it led him away from boots for so long. And if you don't know, boots are like the most important item in Randomizer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But yeah, so the only way Kohrek could have came back is if Helmasaur had an item after ACMLM gambled it, and he did, which gave Kohrek the lead. But Kohrek unfortunately missing that sword. And then subsequently forgetting that he only had 6 crystals. I do not believe ACMLM does any interviews, so he's definitely in the chat if you have any questions for him. Congratulations on your victory, ACMLM. GG, we're going to go ahead and watch Kohrek here finish up.
Getting some pretty friendly patterns for Master Sword Ganon right now.
Oh, he should have kept there.
Oh, man. Really good patterns.
No, you can just stay in the corner. I don't understand why he's moving and wasting time.
Another one. Wow.
Yeah, this should be the end of phase 2 for Kohrek here. A very lucky pattern for him here. That's nice to see when you have Master Sword. It's the worst when he doesn't get near a wall. He does have a blue potion still, I believe, so he should have no issues with magic. Just has to get those 4 hits and then the 4 freezes into silver arrows. It's much harder to double or triple Ganon with the Master Sword because there's so much more recoil on the spin attack. There's one. This one should be a double if he gets it from the side. Nice. And he only needs one more.
There it is.
And GG's to Kohrek. And Kohrek walks through the door with an official time of 1:43.28. About a 3-minute difference for our runners. And that was a very, very, very close race. GG's for both our runners. So we'll see if Kohrek wants to come in. Do you like the race, Solsky?
Loved it.
It doesn't get better than that. It's when, like, when the commentators are like, the only way this works is if this, and then bam, mitts on ether. And it's like, all right. The only way this works is on the, bam, Quake on Helmasaur. It's like, all right, well, you got it, Seed.
Yeah, it definitely put him a little ahead for quite a while because it did end up routing around the overworld a lot better. But then ACM just kind of responded in kind by finding boots and pendant pods, so that kind of leveled the playing field a lot, allowed for him to check everything a lot faster, and really did just slowly but surely bridge that gap between him and Kohrek. And as we await for Ben ACM's menu time, what were your thoughts on Seed?
I loved it. I thought it was a really good seed. I don't particularly like super late Dark World access because it makes it so that like there's no reason to go back to Light World. I kind of like when get Dark World access like in Kakariko, and then the players have to make choices like when do I go to South Shore, when do I go to Eastern, stuff like that. But aside from that, I think Kohrek played it fantastically. I don't think it's a secret to anybody that Acmlm has better execution. So he took the gambles that he thought he needed to take, and they worked out for him. Unfortunately, it's just a few mishaps there with the miscounting keys and pod, leaving him down a sword. I think it could have almost been a tie had he not missed that sword, I think.
And that's like just the way Randomizer goes, is like you make a hiccup or you have a hiccup, sorry, or you forget an item and it's basically important. So it's never the other way around.
Yeah, so it's one of those rare seeds where like they do completely opposite things and it still like lines them up together at the end of it all. That's not the way it usually goes down, and it's definitely like due to their decisions as players, so that was very interesting to watch. And I think Kohrek's in the setup channel. I think he said to just give him a second. And here we have Kohrek. GG's again, friend.
Ah, thanks, GG.
How are you feeling right now?
Well, I was just chatting after the race, and I was already feeling bad about going up the GT without the 7th crystal, and then I found out
that's what happened, right? You didn't think Tiara was the crystal? Okay.
Yeah.
We thought you might have thought Tiara was the crystal at first.
Nope. And then I just found out that Tempered was in the Harmless Hellway, and I just convinced myself there had to be a key for some reason, and because I did Helmasaur first, and oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, because you did Helmasaur first, you shouldn't have had any keys left over. Whereas supposedly, if you do the rest of the dungeon first, then like when you get to Helmasaur, that you use that last key.
Yeah, and I even thought about it a couple times, and I even thought I found all 5 items, so it didn't matter anyway. And yeah,
it was just a break.
It happens.
Yeah, you made the play on Ether super early. It wound up working out for you. You had your mitts maybe 20-ish minutes before him, but unfortunately, because of no mitts, he was led to pod a lot sooner than you. So he got his boots and his tempered like when you were still doing like Smith sequence, like very early on in the race. And then eventually you made your way over there, but he didn't kill Helmasaur the first time he was in pod. So he never got Quake. He didn't want to do it in the dark because he hadn't gone to the pyramid, is what he's telling us in the chat right now. So yeah, basically he wound up full clearing the game. He even dipped like the first 2 chests of Turtle Rock before going back. He also had to double dip Swamp because he skipped left side the first time, so he wound up checking that before going back to Helmasaur. And then of course Helmasaur had Quake. You actually had go mode first. It was just the mishap with the crystals, and then the sword disadvantage obviously made up a big chunk of that time.
I mean, You know, when I was going through the race in my head, that's kind of what I expected. I mean, I know I route sometimes a little bit differently than other people would. So that was kind of the route I had in my head, and it was just kind of dependent on whether he killed Helmasaur when he was there or not. If he did, then I would be way behind with those early boosts, but otherwise I should be in decent shape. But then I forgot about Mothula anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, he actually did the new fire rod glitch in Misery Mire, so he was like, you came out of Vitreous basically as he was entering Vitreous. Like, that's how close you guys were. Like, he was already done with the first half of Vitreous when you came out with your crystal, so it was really close. That early big key in GT kind of worked against you though, because it kind of turned it into like an execution race and didn't really give you a chance to find another sword. So between the two of you, you guys checked pretty much everything. So the sword was either somewhere else in GT, or it was in the back of Turtle Rock. Like, those are the only places, or in the pedestal, I guess. Like, those are the only places the other sword could have been. So if it had been a late GT key, you might have had a chance to find another sword in there somewhere. That could have been the deciding factor as well. But unfortunately, that's not how this seed played out.
Yeah, I mean, I have, very, very little regrets. I know after I forgot the 7th crystal, my execution was starting to slip a little bit, getting inside my head, as it does. But yeah, I had a decent route, I think, and I had fun. So you're not going to win against ACM a lot, especially if you make mistakes like I made in this one. So, it's the expected outcome. I still have another shot next round, and it's just been a fun tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And going into the next round, you are going to be 4-2. It'll be the last round of Swiss, so it's kind of like a do or die. Are you nervous at all? Are you excited? Do you want to make it into the next round? I know some people are at this point, they're just like, oh, I'm so tired of the stress. I just want it to end. So like, where do you fall in that?
So I want to have nice, like, strong races, right? So if I get matched up against another person the caliber of ACM next week, and I know there are a couple out there in the 4-2 in that area, I'd be perfectly happy going out. Like, my last 4 races would have been Zaphod, Genya, ACM, and that person. I would be perfectly happy if that was my tournament and that's what happened. If I get into Swiss, and I just want to have good close matchups. That's really what I want.
Well, don't beat yourself up too much about this seed. You kept it super close the whole way through. Look, you should just be proud of the way you played, and you just work on the small mistakes that you made. And even if you get someone of ACM's level next round, you could potentially still beat them because you were ahead a lot of the seed as well. So, don't beat yourself up too much about it.
Yeah, and just want to say GG to ACM, great race, and thanks to you guys for commentating. Really appreciate it. It's it was a big race, and have guys of your caliber on commentary means a lot. And thanks for the tracker, and I know they jumped in at the last minute, and always thanks for the restream and the audience out there watching. It was a lot of fun.
Did you have anything you wanted to ask, Solsky?
No, you pretty much covered everything. It was good.
All right, well, once again, congratulations to Acmlm for winning this race. He is now 5-1 and is guaranteed a spot in the next round of the tournament. If you liked what you saw tonight, as many people are pointing out in the chat, feel free to follow the runners, the commentators, the trackers, everybody that works at Speed Gaming. Speed Gaming's 1 through 6, soon to be 8. Link to the Past Randomizer channel. You're going to find tons of randomizer action. Just because the tournament may be winding down in Swiss, that just means that the next matches are just going to be that much more intense. And, stay tuned, because there will definitely be more games, if not on this channel, on the other channels. So make sure you're following all of them. With that being said, I am Ben Teasy, my good friend Solsky here. It was a pleasure working with you tonight, sir. thanks to everybody that worked on this race tonight, and have a great night, everyone.
See you later, everyone. Have a great night.